responsibly, choose your ride, and have a plan for a safe ride home.
Visit arrivealive.org to find out more.
You're watching Rogers TV.
Welcome to this edition of Dufferin Life. I'm your host, Teena Avery. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to start off by saying I love having this next guest on my show. She gives us a wealth of information and it's so important to the community. Kim Delahunt, she is the President and Chief Executive Officer for Headwaters Healthcare Centre. Kim, thank you so much for coming on the show again.
Thank you, Teena. It's really nice to be back. I enjoy my time with you as well.
Yes, I mean, it's always so important to create awareness in the community. So that's why I do love to have anyone from Headwaters Healthcare on, because it gives information that's vital to the community and their health care, which is really important.
Yes.
So there's been some exciting things happening at Headwaters. Can you tell us a little bit about your strategic plan, the new strategic plan?
Yes, I would love to. So we just launched a brand new 5-year strategic plan at the hospital, and I'm really proud to say that we engaged almost 3,000 individuals through various formats, whether it was online, in person, through surveys. And so we received input from staff, physicians, volunteers, community members, the public, community partners, which all informed everything that's included in our new strategic plan. So are really pleased that our vision is the same, one community caring together. And our purpose now is to provide excellent care close to home.
Amazing. So can you tell us a little bit about how how it benefits people, the plan?
Yes, sure. So, first and foremost, it's, a guide for everyone at the hospital. Mm-hmm. So it's going to map out, our next 5 years and what we're achieving or striving to achieve. There are 4 strategic directions within the plan. So, and I'll share them. So, we are committed to, we will empower our people. We will connect through partnerships, we will get even better, and we will deliver patient-centered quality care. So those are our strategic directions, which will really guide everything we do over the next 5 years. As well, we've got 4 values, and they are kindness, accountability, respect, and teamwork. And our values are really important because, they signify how we are committed to working with patients and everyone that walks through our doors. It's how we want to work and behave with each other, which is really important. And ultimately, they're going to help us achieve our strategic directions in the plan. So, it's going to guide our staff. It's also there so that patients and families know what the hospital is achieving or trying to achieve over the next 5 years. And ultimately, the board of directors is accountable, as is, myself and everyone that works at the hospital.
Well, I have to say, a strategic plan, and if you've never done one of those, is a lot of work. And I commend you for involving so many different community groups and elements in the general public and the staff and just getting all of that information. Something like this, how long does it normally take to kind of put together? It's quite extensive for such a...
It sure is, but the inputs are really important, and we wanted it to be a plan ultimately co-created by, our partners, staff, physicians, everyone. So, we've been working on it for the last year, actually. So it was close to 12 months that we worked on it. We started the engagement early. There was lots of iterations. We ensured that there was validation. So we kept going back out saying, is this what we heard? Are we getting close? Does this resonate? And, the nice thing was too, is that we had our board of directors, they're always involved. We asked for volunteers to be on an advisory committee, and every single one of our board members put their hand up and volunteered, which was really nice because it again just showed how important the plan was to them. So it was honestly an amazing journey. The 12 months flew by. And I feel really strongly that I think the plan, was guided by robust input and engagement, and I'm really happy with the outcome, and I think it just sets up a wonderful path for the hospital for the next 5 years.
That is amazing. So what can new patients expect from the plan?
Yeah, so, certainly we're committed to all the strategic directions. We're committed to the values that I mentioned. So, I hope that patients will, continue to receive high quality patient-centered care. We certainly want to provide even more care close to home, so hopefully they can expect to see more services coming to Headwaters over the next 5 years. The patient-centered element in there is really important to us. We are on a journey to increase the number of patient and family advisors we have that are involved at the hospital, part of our partnership. We're sitting at a membership of 13 now. We're looking to get to at least 25.
Wonderful.
Patient and family advisors, so we're definitely looking for their input and involvement around the hospital, whether it's contributing to a departmental committee or just overall. And I think they can continue to expect high quality care, compassionate care. We truly have a dedicated group of physicians and staff and volunteers.
And it's so many different arms into the operation that kind of make this as a whole come to a whole. And I think we've talked about this before, that my parents were both in Headwaters, and when you walk in there and you've got a sick loved one, or you're sick yourself, it's overwhelming. So having people to speak to and people who are compassionate and can empathize with what you're going through and point you in the right direction, because I think oftentimes you walk in there and you don't know where to go.
That's right.
You don't know what's going to happen, and your main concern is the person that's coming into the hospital with you, and it's just overwhelming.
Absolutely.
And I think the staff that you have there has always done an amazing job at taking care of us and taking care of our concerns. And the fact that you worked on the strategic plan to make it that much better for everybody, I think is phenomenal.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We certainly strive to do that each and every day.
So Kim, tell me some of the recent accomplishments that have happened with Headwaters Healthcare Center.
Yeah, there's many, Teena. So I'm really proud to share that the hospital recently achieved our accreditation with exemplary standing, which is a huge accomplishment. It was done through a national accrediting body called Accreditation Canada, where they sent surveyors on site for a whole week at the hospital.
Okay.
And so, what this means for patients and families is that, they can be assured that all of our quality and standards are at the highest standard possible, because everything's been audited and vetted. So really, really proud of that accomplishment. In addition, there's a number of programmatic accomplishments that we've achieved this past year. Some examples are in our emergency department, we implemented a wait time clock.
Okay.
So now when patients' families come in, they can see the wait time, on display in the department. As well, we project it or share it on our website for the public to see before they think about coming in.
Okay.
So that was exciting. We also launched real-time patient experience surveys in the emergency department. So we're always trying to seek feedback and input as to how are we doing. We've, increased the communication with patients and families in our emergency department. We're also really pleased that we recruited a geriatrician to Headwaters.
Okay.
So we're looking at, again, expanding our services and what we can offer to the community. In regards to mental health and substance abuse, we were very fortunate to receive some additional funding so that we can now offer crisis services and emergency department 7 days a week. Really, really important. Within our obstetrics unit, we did some investments in regards to adding a dedicated clinical educator for the unit. We got some workstations on wheels. We call them WOWs, which is really nice for the nurses on the unit. And in addition, we created a pediatric department.
Wow,
so we have a chief of pediatrics. We're really fortunate to have a number of pediatricians now practicing at the hospital, and we also launched a pediatric urgent clinic. So lots of great, and those are just some of the accomplishments, but lots of great stuff happening at the hospital. I'm also right now doing a bit of a road show. Twice a year I do delegations to all of our municipalities, all of the towns, and the communities that we serve. So I'm out there sharing our new strategic plan and highlighting some of the many accomplishments that I'm really proud of at the hospital.
Yeah, I'm going to say those are very impressive accomplishments. So much has changed since just the last time that you were here.
Absolutely. And, I should share that, of course, we're really excited about the first ever MRI that's coming to the hospital. So we're, diligently working on that. We're also in progress of renovating our dialysis unit. So that work is underway. There's lots of other facility upgrades that are underway at the hospital because we're always looking at how can we, get even better, which is one of our strategic directions, and how can we continue to provide a safe and healthy environment for, patients and families, our staff, for everyone that works and comes to Headwaters.
Well, just bringing in like the pediatric department and the MRI and just making it so much easier for people that would have to travel so far out in order. I mean, it's already terrifying enough when you're sick and you're not feeling well and you don't know what's going on and you're worried, and when you have to travel on top of that, and everything that you're doing to bring this local to our community is phenomenal and can only make everything absolutely better for every patient that walks into the hospital.
Yeah, that's certainly what we're trying to do, bring as much care as we can so that it is close to home. And, with the population growth that is projected for our area, and there are a couple of key population segments that are really going to grow, and that's our seniors, and also those between the ages of 20 and 29. So we've got the kind of baby boomers, the young families that are coming into our area, and then those that are, aging, and we want them to age in place. So we want to make sure we have, all the services that we need at our hospital.
Absolutely. I mean, my mother was in there with palliative care, and I just can't say enough how much it meant to me, the services that were provided for her and for us as a family, and the fact that you're doing so much more. And the community is growing exponentially, and there's so much more need. And the fact that you are working towards with a strategic plan and thinking 5 years out about how this can better our community is an asset to our community itself. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Another important element that's currently underway is we're looking, it's called a master program and plan. It's being updated for the hospital. What that really is it's looking at, so what are all the services we need to provide over the next 5, 10, 20 years, and then how does our facility and space, how's it going to accommodate all of those services and expansions that are going to be required. And so that's, a big plan is going to be produced, which is then going to help us with submissions into the ministry for additional funding, because we know we're going to need to either grow up or out or both to be able to provide all the services that are needed. So that's also exciting, and that's underway. We're really trying to, set the path for the future for the hospiel.
I think that's most important, is for you to be proactive, because if you're not thinking about what's coming in the future, then
Yes. So, I'm really fortunate. I have an amazing team that I work alongside, and as you've referenced, I always thank the staff, physicians, volunteers, because they truly are the Headwaters heroes, and they're such a dedicated and committed group that honestly we're all privileged to have them at the hospital and for them to be there.
Wonderful. Kim, I want to thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Teena. It's always a pleasure.
I love having you on, and I'm sure you'll be back on soon. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
It's been a long time coming.
You don't win it to keep it, you win it to be a part of its history.
Always knew
Always hard to see the difference between winning and losing.
how to steal.
Stanley Cup champion.
Such a long time.
The quest for the hardest trophy to win in sports. You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to rogerstv.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at rogerstv.com.
Welcome back to Dufferin Life. Thank you so much for staying with us. And if you're just tuning in, you're tuning in at a great time. The theme of this show today is healthcare. And joining me today, she has been on the show before. You may have recognized her, or she may be a new face to you. We have Yogita. She is from Innertouch Health Solutions. I am so sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. It's always a pleasure being back on the show. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I definitely love having you on. So let's talk about what it is, what services you provide to the community.
So, senior care, as I've been here on the show before, navigating seniors through the system in the healthcare, helping in palliative care. My heart just goes out to those in geriatrics and those that are in the last end of life part. So my services is navigating them through the system, helping them through the right resources, having a nurse, a PSW, social worker, psychotherapist, whatever the needs are for the family and the patient itself. And just, just being there, just as a whole and supporting everyone. We do also, aside from the PSW role, from the palliative roles. I'm messing up.
So that's okay. So let's talk about the fact that what you're doing basically is you're providing health services for better health for seniors, families, as well as women who are trying for fertility or postpartum. And we're going to get into a little bit more detail as to what happens there. So let's talk about fertility and some of the services that are required for fertility and how these services can help individuals.
So going through fertility I personally have gone through it myself, and I find that a lot of people don't talk about it, and it's important that we discuss it because a lot of women out there need that support and that help out there. So I personally think that going through it myself, it gave me that experience of navigating through the system. Fertility can be a very emotional aspect for many women, and going through the medications, hormone therapy, IUIs, IVF, all of those things. It can make you go into depression. It can make you feel like you don't feel yourself, right?
Absolutely.
So, as I personally have gone through that, I have now developed this part of my practice in the business is to help those mothers going through that and having that support system, navigating them through and telling them it's okay to cry. It's okay to, feel defeated on your first round of treatment. And, just being there helps them emotionally and helps them with so many other aspects that, physically, mentally, and you go through that motion with them. So that's one part of it. And then once you go through the fertility aspect, then, when you have the baby, then you go through the postpartum aspect as well. So we have our therapists and our team to help and support that. Our PSWs, our nannies go out there and support them during the time if the mother needs that support.
Well, and I think, so we're going to go back to fertility for just a minute because I'm thinking, it's almost defeatist if you're trying and you want so badly to have a child and you can't do it, and then I think, correct me if I'm wrong, this can cause stress between the couple.
Absolutely.
And then
couples therapy.
Yes,
we provide that as well. So we make sure that you know, we talk to both of the individuals because, you know, as much as women are going through it physically, emotionally, what about the male?
Yes.
They need that support as well because they don't know how to talk to their wife when.
Well, it's something they've never been through, and
Yeah.
it's something that's you know, can be heartbreaking at times, and you know, sometimes there's hope, and then your hopes are dashed.
Yes.
And I think that it's really important that we are talking about things like this, and that letting people know that there are services for them in order to kind of make it through, because the process could be short. You know, or it could be extremely long. And
Absolutely, and I can tell you, for me, it took 7 years for my miracle to happen.
Wow.
So
Okay.
you know, during that time, your life stops, and as a woman, being independent and a career-driven person, any individual out there, you decide, oh my gosh, you're defeated. And you know, this is why I want to do this. I want to be out there and help everyone and know that there are services out there for women, and we need to build more awareness because their awareness is not there.
Right.
And a lot of moms, when I've gone through the fertility centers and, you know, those clinics, they're shy to talk to you. They're
Yes.
scared because.
Well, I mean, it's almost, and it shouldn't be. Let me clarify this. It should not be, but it's a feeling of failure. Like if it's not happening, and you know you've gone to the step where it's not happening naturally, so then you have to take steps forward, and you really want to have a family. I would think, personally, for myself, you would have that feeling of failure. So the fact that we're talking about it and that it's normal and so many people go through it, and I think that's important, because you know you're saying that people are shy and people, you know,
Culture
tend to step
too.
back. Yes,
It's a culture thing. Some families do not want to talk about it. Just it's not to be talked about. Like, if you can't have a child, that's what it is. Or it's sad, but that's reality out there. And I've spoken to many women out there, and they're like, we can't tell our family because they don't support us.
Okay.
Or, you know, there's other issues happening with them, and they don't have that support because the understanding is not there, and building awareness of that. It's okay to go through this.
Yes, and I think, I mean, all encompassing, and there's such a big push to make mental health like a regular conversation with people, and this is all part of it. I mean, this is about your mental health, whether you're going through something specific, if there's a, you know, whatever it happens to be, it needs to be spoken.
Absolutely.
It needs to be discussed. It needs to be, that's why we're doing this. This is why we're doing this, because we want people to say, like, no, this is normal. You're not the only one out there.
Yeah, and you know what? At the time, I could speak on my experience. I thought I was alone, and I thought I had no one to talk to, because no one understands when your hormones are going whack, and
Yes.
you know, you're having hot sweats in the night and you're freaking out. But when you have a group of individuals that you can speak to, it's okay.
Yes.
And you know that, okay, like, they've gone through the same emotions I've gone through. So, and this is what I want to do. I want other moms to realize that it is okay to cry. It is okay to feel the way you feel, because we're in it together, and all women should know. And if you can't have a child, there's other means of having it. There's surrogates. There's tons of ways.
There's adoption. There's fostering. There's so many different ways.
But people don't think that far, right? And you know, just to be there for the support.
Well, when you're going through something that's a hardship, no matter what it is, whether it's fertility, whatever it happens to be, when you're sitting in the thick of everything, you can't see past. You can't see, like, if something happens in your life and it's very upsetting, you're distraught, you're upset, and people are telling you, you'll be okay. You don't see that. Like,
you never
don't
really understand
Yeah.
what the other person's feeling. We can always imagine and try, but you're absolutely right. You know, a lot of people don't, they can only say they understand, but it's not.
Yes.
You go through all these emotions, and it is just, you have to speak to someone that can
relate. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it comes, and we're going to talk about palliative care and that sort of thing, because that hits home directly for me. So when you're going through, like, you can't see past it, and when you're coming to the end of life of someone that you love, or their life has ended, when you're speaking to people, everybody is compassionate and empathetic, and they want to support you.
Yes.
But they may or may not understand what it's like to be going through losing a parent or losing someone, a loved one, whatever it happens to be. So having the support to speak to people.
Support. You definitely, and it's not even the speaking and the communication. You need that touch, that feel, and the right nurse, the right PSW, the right support systems in the home, a housekeeper, or just someone there to just sit and keep you as companionship. And that's all the services we provide, especially towards the end of life. Like, It's a lot of emotions, I'm sure you understand.
Yes.
I've lost lots of loved ones, I'm sure you have. And you go through all these things, and everyone deals with it in a different way.
Yes.
Some families get really angry, some families just shut down, some just, you know, they don't want to talk about it, they don't want to deal with it, they just shy away, and some cry at the bedside. But it's okay. You can deal with it in any way you please. And that's where the awareness needs to be, and people need to understand that, because palliative is such a thing where people are like, oh my God, it's end of life, and you know, it can be really sad, but it's a celebration of life. It is definitely a celebration of life, and that's how the way I look at it, and the way I present it to my team and present it to clients. I'm like, you know, let's celebrate the last few days. Let's celebrate it and have the team bring their special treats, bring their special things that they love with the family.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it is something very difficult to go through. I've talked about it before on set that, you know, my mother was palliative and we took care of her, my sister and I, my father, and then we moved into the hospital, then you move into palliative care, then we moved to hospice. It was a long process for us. And, you know, the doctors would say, okay, well, you know, we think that the end is coming. And my mother was like, no. So it was like a 7-month process.
Palliative can mean anything, right? We could say, we can deem a client palliative today and they can live for a year or 2 years, right? Yes. They can do surprises.
They do. They definitely did. And my mom was strong and had a very strong heart. So she was, and it's earth shattering. It's something that you can't really explain to somebody who hasn't lost a parent. Like, but they may have lost other loved ones, but there's different reactions to losing different people in your life.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And I think that, you know, and talking about palliative care and how important it is, and, you know.
Keep in mind, you know, I've dealt with from pediatrics to geriatrics and palliative care. So it's a different range, and it's very different. At any age, it's hard. Yes. But you know, it's the way you deal with it, and the way the families deal with it, and just being supportive. And I really think that, you know, being Seniors Month as well, it's important that seniors are aware that they're not alone. Yes. Loneliness is a big thing, and that's another part of it, that we want to support our seniors just for the companionship, right? The services are there. Just, you know, there's volunteers on my team that will love to go out there and, you know, sit down and do companionship for a few hours and just be there for those seniors.
Because, I mean, not everybody has a support system around them. Not everybody has family that support each other, as well as the person that may be close to end of life, whatever it happens to be. And you're absolutely right when you're talking about a parent versus, oh my goodness, children. It breaks my heart. And
absolutely.
And I look at it going, I don't know how I would relate to that. Like, I would be there for anybody that was happening to. Of course. But how do you relate to it? And if that person doesn't have anyone that can understand what they're going through, I think.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
It's a hard thing. And I've seen a lot of people down in the career path I've gone through, and there are clients that are alone. And we become their family. I become their family. I remember holding many clients' homes towards the end of, like, at their homes and holding their hands towards the end. And that, for me, makes you feel so fulfilled. And I feel so blessed doing that. And that's why I continue doing what I do, because it takes a special team and a special person, individuals, to do the job they do every day, right?
Absolutely.
Working in the hospital, in the community, it doesn't matter where, but if you're working with these in palliative or dealing with, you know, postpartum, anything like that, you have to be very patient and understanding.
And I think where I kind of want to leave this, because we're about running out of time, is the support is out there. Yeah. You just please reach for it. And if you're alone and feeling very alone, please do. And I want to thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you again for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure, Teena.
It's wonderful to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, bye-bye for now. So we're going to look at...
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.